How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome back to another episode of Geekin' Out, where we basically discuss everything nerd and geek related. Today, tonight, tomorrow, or whenever you're watching this in the distant future, I'm doing another Get to Know That Actor, and I'm joined here by Lacey. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's Deline.
Deline. Again, Lacey, thank you for coming on to Geeking Out to talk about what it's like being a voice actor, how you got into it, the stuff you've done, and just the all-around experience. As always, when we do these, how long have you been acting for in general, and what made you decide one day that this is something you wanted to do?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me.
Of course.
I really appreciate it. Voice acting in total, I have been doing since 2015, but I guess, like anime and animation video games, I went full time in 2021, and that's when that primarily started. And to get into voiceover, I've been acting since I was a kid. I mean, not anything crazy. My mom, put me in some community theater as a kid, and I was in the drama club in high school. And then I got a minor in musical theater through college. And so it's kind of always been a thing, the acting in general, but voice acting specifically. John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender, he produced a documentary called "I Know That
I know
Voice."
your voice. Yep, 20
Mm-hmm.
came out in
Mm-hmm.
2013.
Yeah, so I was gonna say in 2015, I got sick one day in high school, and I had to stay home, and it was on Netflix, and I watched it, and I didn't realize that voice acting could be an actual job, so I just decided to start pursuing it after watching that documentary.
Yeah, no, that honestly does go into full detail about, the ins and out of voice acting.
Yeah.
And that, I know there are some people who think, oh, well, I'm just going to go into it for the money and all that, which kind of brings me to a question I usually ask. What advice would you want to give to someone who wants to get into voice acting, but their first thought is, oh, I'm going to make all this tons of money and I can just, oh, this is like, I know how, this is the only thing I can only have to do ever when they, like, especially when they first start out.
I would say first of all, it's great to have high goals like that. Personally, I it can be a little detrimental to go in with that sort of thought process, especially going into it thinking you only want to do it for the money. Because there is a lot of craft that goes into it. Not to say that money's not a great motivator, and not to say that money is not a great goal to aspire to. I think that that's great to have, big dreams, and hopefully people can like make oodles and oodles and oodles of money because you can, especially if you get into commercial. I would say that if you are wanting to get into voiceover for the money, I mean, and I like it's the world we live in. I'm not gonna judge anybody for wanting to do this for the money. I hope that they love it. I hope that it's something that they enjoy. But if you're wanting to do this for the money and you're wanting to make the big bucks, you're not gonna do it doing animation and video games. I mean, unless you can get into like the big AAA stuff. The money is in commercials, automotive, e-learning. The more I don't want to say like blue collar voiceover because it's not, especially since it makes the most money.
Kind
But
of
like
like
the not as
for like medicine commercials, shoe
yeah,
commercials,
yeah,
things
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that.
Like the more like not glamorous voiceover.
Basically advertising in a sense.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's where you're going to make the most of your money is in those areas. So if you're a new voiceover and that's kind of what your goal is, start taking commercial classes, automotive classes and e-learning classes. Get to know the ins and outs of the industry on that side. And get really good at those techniques. Get really good at acting if that's what you're wanting to do. I would also say that if money is a concern or money is something that is inhibiting you or is pushing you forward as a motivator, it's very expensive in the beginning to figure out voiceover. Even if you do get some of the cheaper equipment, I think what an AT 2020 USB mic is still like $300
I mean,
or something like that.
this one right here cost me like 30 bucks on Amazon, and
Well, there you go.
I've been using this for like the past 5 years.
Sure. And I mean, like, sure, and I guess $30 is fairly cheap, but I guess in this economy, what a dollar goes nowhere and
Oh yeah.
everywhere all at the same time. So
Oh
I mean,
yeah, I
like,
know.
it is some money that you're gonna have to spend at the very beginning.
Oh, definitely.
And so I guess like understanding that is like once you get your equipment, then the money is a little easier to figure out. Because once you have what you need, you don't have to buy it again unless you're ready to upgrade. Um, I think that answers the question. I
Oh
don't know.
no,
We
no,
got to
no, no,
talking
no,
about
no,
money.
no. It does. And honestly, I mean, some of like your most well-known voice actors, like you said, John DiMaggio, Steve Bloom, they all started with just like minor roles, whether it be for
Mhm.
like uh hemorrhoid cream or something.
Yeah, well, a lot of those stories are like, they were doing acting, and they would just get like called in to do these random commercials or get called in to do these random things, and they didn't take it super seriously until a little bit later.
Oh yeah.
So it's
Then
so
you,
interesting.
then you got something like, Funimation, Crunchyroll, they're like the influx of like voice actors I've seen, not just, the ones who've been doing this for a long time, but like people our age range and, their 20s, 30s, they're getting like some of these like big roles in anime that you would never expect to back in the day,
Mhm. Mhm.
which I think is honestly impressive.
Yeah, totally.
So you got this into serious into voice acting in 2021 for Crunchyroll, if I'm not mistaken.
I started at Crunchyroll last year.
Last year, nice.
Yeah. In 2021, that's when I went full time voiceover. But my bread and butter is in commercial and e learning. That's how I started making, the paycheck to quit my job and do this full time. And then it was in 2024 when I moved to Texas from Tennessee to
Which is
pursue
where
anime.
where the main
Yep.
Crunchyroll.
Yep. And you got to be local for the most part in order to get in and be doing all of this stuff.
Oh yeah,
So
because that's where their main office is at.
uh-huh. Yeah, it's in Capel. So, which is I've only lived here like 2 years, so I don't. Capel is in Dallas. It's a suburb of Dallas or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so we moved here in 2024. And then I officially got signed on in I think March of last year, and then I was called in for my first role in June of last year for Crunchyroll. So I
Nice.
I am we're almost in June, so I'm almost to my year anniversary
That
of
is
being with
that's I
Crunchyroll.
mean, definitely got to celebrate for that for
I
sure.
know! I want to have a little party or something. We'll see what happens.
So 2021, you just you quit your full-time job, which your standard 9 to 5, I imagine.
Well, I actually had I was working part-time at Starbucks and part-time full-time part-time at uh Rural Radio, which was a Sirius XM show. And they had their studio in Nashville.
I'm familiar with Sirius XM.
Yeah.
It's a very popular radio show.
Yeah. Sirius XM's got a lot of stuff on it, and so I was on the Rural Radio show. I did board operating. I did a couple of commercials. I did like show editing and
Oh, so you got kind of got a taste of like the voiceover stuff through Sirius XM.
yeah. Well, I mean, I had been doing it for a little like since 2015. Before then, I got hired by Sirius XM in 2019, when I got out of college, and then the pandemic hit in 2020, so we went fully remote, and we stayed remote until I quit in 2021, to do voiceover full time.
Nice. So what was that transition like going from, your part-time job at Starbucks to part-time full-time to Sirius XM to 2021 where you're just like, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to continue to do
Mm-hmm.
because I enjoy it. What was that transition like?
Well, for me, the transition was incredibly easy, because since I had already been doing voiceover since 2015, anywhere I moved or anywhere I was, I had my studio. Well, not this studio, but I had a studio, usually my closet, and I had my setup, so my microphone, my interface, and all that kind of stuff. Because I was still doing voiceover this whole time too. That was just also part time, if you can even call it that. But transitioning, it was as simple as, all right, I'm done. And then I just started dedicating all of my time to like fully marketing myself, getting my website super up to date. Like I already had all of this stuff because I'd been slowly accumulating and slowly building myself as a voice actor since 2015. Um, so the transition was just dedicating more time to auditioning and to doing the voiceover work. Um, so it was a really easy transition. I also think that this, sort of post pandemic world of voiceover is a lot different than it used to
Oh,
be.
it skyrocketed during the 2020s. Everyone and their mother-in-law was
Yep.
like doing doing auditions for something now. I mean, hell, I did like a small part for an animated short back in 2021,
Nice.
which was first time ever doing something like that. Which I will say from actual experience, it's definitely a lot, especially when they want you to like redo a certain line because they didn't like hear enough of it.
Yeah, no, totally. So like a lot of people went to voiceover in 2020, and people who were already in voiceover or acting or whatever transitioned to remote recording. Um and I had been doing voiceover before 2020, but I was in high school and then I went to college. So it wasn't like I had an agent. I still don't have an agent. Like it's not I it was all very 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 slow until the pandemic hit, and then I went remote with the radio, and I wasn't working at Starbucks at the time because it couldn't be around anything, we weren't essential. uh so I got to dedicate a bit of time to voiceover. So then in 2021 the transition was super super easy. It was literally as simple as I quit and now I'm dedicating my time. I'm also in a privileged position where I do have a husband who has a job. So like while I can support myself, like I do make enough to have justified going full time. It's not like I did it
It's good.
completely on
It's
my
good. It's good
own.
to have that extra income because let's face it, bills,
Mhm.
rent, food,
Mhm.
all that essential stuff, it's not
Mhm.
cheap.
Well, yeah, and America sucks. So,
I mean, like even look at your well-known voice actors been doing this for years. Not only do they do voice acting, but they do ebooks, they do commercials, because you still need that income, especially
mhm.
if you're a full-time actor, you need that you'd still need some income, whether it's a small bit role, I mean, even like for example, Final Fantasy VII, the remake series. You see like some iconic names, and they're just doing bit parts.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not guaranteed your next job, so wherever you can find the work is the work you should be doing.
even if it's like a bit part, a small part for a commercial, like you're still needing some kind of income.
Mhm.
And I imagine that's what you've done as well. Like you've had some pretty big roles. I mean, you're recently you were in the voice. Oh, what was it's by I can't. Lefty's gonna get mad at me if I don't pronounce the
Oh,
series.
Mana and Monochroma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. The animated pilot. So, super, super excited about that. It's on Kickstarter. We're already 50% of the way there.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
I know, and it's just, I love this project specifically. I mean, I'm a little biased, obviously, because I'm Mana in Monochroma.
You're
Um,
pretty much you're the main character.
yeah, so I am biased, but I'm I've always been a huge fan of stuff like Adventure Time and Steven Universe, those kinds of stories. Gravity Falls, plucky little kid gets into something maybe a little over their head and everything isn't as it seems. Uh,
That animated one on Disney. I can't remember the name of it. Really great. The main character's name is Luz, I think.
oh, Owl House,
Yep.
yes.
That.
Yes. So I've been a huge fan of things like that. And so when I saw the audition for Monochroma and that the description said that it was inspired by shows like that, I knew that I was already gonna follow it. And it's just even better that I get to be a part of it. And because I get to be a part of it, I get to work fairly closely with Lefty and Lav and all of the others. And they are so passionate about this project. It is such a work of love. Lefty has apparently been building this world since he was a kid in middle school, just drawing these pictures and creating these characters and making this entire story. And to be able to see it come to fruition, obviously has to mean a lot to him, but it's also beautiful for me to see and to get to be a part of. Uh, so anyway, any of you out there want to support no AI, all hand drawn art, beautiful project, a lot of love going into it. I can't recommend Monochroma enough.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of knowing Lefty and Zeph for a while and seeing that. I'm like, it's good to see. It's good to see, non triple A studios or even, solo projects, uh, you know, becoming more of a thing,
Yeah,
We,
yeah, for sure.
especially how some of these studios, these bigger studios want to go the AI route, which I think is the most dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I'm pretty anti AI when it comes. I mean, yes, there's the AI in video games that has like the character mapping and everything, like that type of program. That's a different type of AI, but like generative AI or just fully doing AI voice. even AI voices, I'm very like, why?
Yeah. I mean, thank God for Nava to help us out in all of those regards. The National Association for Voice Actors, they do incredible work, not just in the AI field, but in for voiceover rights altogether. They also offer health insurance, which is incredible, and they're constantly fighting the good fight against AI and rights for voice actors. So if you haven't heard of Nava, highly recommend checking them out. They also, if you're a voice actor, they have the Nava AI Writer, which is an attachment, or it's a page or an attachment that you can add to any contract or just send outright that protects against AI, basically. So if you ever get hired on for a project, you can have your client sign that.
Oh,
And
nice.
not that I hope I hope people out there aren't hiring voice actors and then wanting to steal their voices, but
No, I've
it's the world we live in, so the more protection you can have, the better.
small projects I've done, like a channel trailer I did for my channel. I
Mm.
hired some local friends of mine to do some like, introduction stuff of what people can expect to see on my channel, and I did pay them. I firmly believe paying people for their hard work. Do I have a big budget? No, but we come in on an agreed price, and we come in on an agreed, budget, and if that works, great. If not, I completely understand because, people's time is definitely worth it.
Yeah, yeah, agreed.
Um, so real quick, since we're kind of on that topic of AI, what is your stance on this whole, AI thing? Because it's definitely becoming more prominent, especially with recent with a certain, I'm not going to say their name, a certain animator wanted to go, a well-known, animator who's worked on popular shows is wanting to go an AI route.
I'm completely against AI, not only in the acting world and the creative world. 100% I'm completely against it in the creative world, but I think in general I'm completely against AI until we can figure out a way to do it ethically and in an ecologically safe way. It is absolutely destroying the environment, and not only is it destroying the environment, it's destroying lives. People are getting kicked out of their homes for these huge data centers. I am completely against AI. I don't think it's in the grand scheme of things. If we lived in a perfect world where AI didn't destroy the world, I can see the argument or whatever for it helps me make a list, it helps me plan my day, it helps me, like, I can see that argument.
Mm-hmm.
But until it gets figured out and people start giving a shit about what it's doing to the earth, I personally have to be completely against it. I don't use it for anything. I mean, there obviously there are some things I can't control. Like as you said, when you've got the character interfaces, or there are obviously companies out there using it to make websites, and maybe I purchase from that company. There's only so much you can do.
Oh yeah, I
Uh
know.
but in the grand scheme of things, I'm completely against it.
Are completely fair and understandable. Now let's talk about being part of Crunchyroll for a year.
Sure.
what was that like being able to work for a company that's been putting anime out for a very, very long time now?
Yeah.
Which
Uh
started, I think it's like what a not like a not, like, I guess like a not pirated, but like something small to something big now.
Yeah, well, it was Funimation, and then they were bought out by Sony, and so now it's Crunchyroll and Funimation are just now Crunchyroll. So it has a really, really long history in that regard. And getting to work for them has been an absolute dream come true. I grew up on anime. Back in 2005 on YouTube, watching everything in three parts, and
Oh God,
it's in
like
Italian but with English subs, whatever. That was absolutely my introduction to anime. And staying up really late.
low quality,
Yeah, super low quality,
like
super bad.
5-10 minute parts you have to watch, and
Uh huh.
hopefully it won't get taken down or something.
Yeah, yeah, and or like watching it on Adult Swim. Inuyasha in my area came on at 3:30 every morning on Adult
Hmm.
Swim, and so I would set an alarm every morning to wake up at 3:30 so I wouldn't miss the next
Oh
episode of
jeez.
Inuyasha. I mean, so I grew up on anime. It's been a huge part of my personality, and I mean, we seem similar in age. Back then anime wasn't cool, and now it is. And I personally think that that is incredible. because
I
it just
mean, you
makes
kind of have to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I can get like my leg up there, but I've got like the chopper tattoo. It's
Nice.
anime is a big part of who I am, and it's always been my favorite form of media. Uh, and I've always wanted to do anime. When I first got into voiceover, I mean, obviously everyone wants to do video games, the animation, and the characters and the fun stuff. When I first got into anime, I focused primarily on commercial and e-learning because I was trying to make it a job that I could continue to do. But the bucket list goal was always to do anime. I was always trying to figure it out. Um, and then in 2021, when I went full time, I started working on taking dubbing classes and working on my acting skills and figuring out like how the rhythmo band worked, how the 3 beat method worked, how all how ADR works in general. I joined the Nashville Loop group so I could figure out how Walla works, which is with all actors. It's all the background noise. So anime has always been the ultimate goal. And then in 2022, December of 2022, I took Tony Oliver's uh, intro to anime dubbing class with Bang Zoom. Or it's through Bang Zoom, but it's the oh shoot, I don't remember what the company is called. The I don't remember, but it's Tony Oliver through Bang Zoom, intro to animation. Dora Fine was
Oh
also a
God,
part of
yeah,
it.
he's been in Okoria from
Yeah. Oh, what
Bleach.
is it? Adventures in Voice Acting, I think is what the
Yeah,
company is
yeah,
called.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking. Yeah, speaking of prominent voice actors, from Bleach to Lupin to Naruto
Hmm.
to
Oh yeah, he's incredible. And I got to take his ADR class, and they actually do the whole ADR thing. You get the 3 beeps, you get to voice a line, and you get to see it on a character. And that was the first time that anything like that had ever happened to me. And legit, I felt like I was on crack. It was an 8 hour class all day long, and it was the first time I ever saw my voice on an anime character. And that was it. The class was done. I came downstairs and I said, "Babe, pack it up. We're moving to Texas. Like this is it." So all of 2023, we prepared. We sold our house. I was in a couple of weddings, so we didn't move like immediately. We got the house on the market, did my weddings, finished everything up, and then we moved in June of 2024. And I just immediately started working out here. So it genuinely a dream come true
it
to
was
be with
it definitely
Crunchyroll. This is
sounds
all
like
I
it was
wanted to do.
it definitely sounds like it was like a big work in progress, and it also shows nice to have a supporting partner who's like,
Yes.
yes,
Yep.
which I'm sure was like a plus to have.
Yes, yes. No, my husband is one of my biggest fans, my biggest supporter. Genuinely couldn't do this without him. So I am incredibly grateful.
So now we jumped. You're working with Crunchyroll, and I know when it comes to like anime, you're having to basically redub the Japanese dubbed anime to English. What's that process been like for you?
So I don't do any of the translation. That's done by the incredible translation team at Crunchyroll. Uh, but for me, as a voice actor, getting to read the lines, I'm always incredibly impressed with the way they are able to adapt everything to an English audience. So, like, for example, if there's a joke in Japanese that doesn't make sense in English or doesn't have a really great direct translation, I feel like back in the day, we would just keep that direct translation. But now they will change the joke. I mean, they'll keep it in the same sphere, but they'll change it to adapt it to the English audience. So like if there's supposed to be a pun, they'll change it to an English version of the pun, Or if it's about like a Japanese folk legend that wouldn't translate exactly, they'll give some kind of descriptor about what's kind of being discussed.
Hmm.
So it's incredibly impressive seeing what they're able to do with the translation and making sure that it's adapted to an American audience.
Oh yeah. I mean, and then you got a show, which is one of my favorite shows, which is pretty much, oh God, it's Ghost Stories. It's a good
Oh my
example
god, yeah.
of basically taking a series and be like, hey, do whatever you want, just make sure it's still kind of in the same, but like just go full ham.
Yeah, well, it was a money thing. It wasn't doing well over in Japan, so they what is it? I think Funimation or whatever got the rights like hella cheap, or Japan was like, please take this from us and just do whatever you want because it's not doing well over here. And so that's kind of something like that is incredibly rare because it just wasn't cared about. So then when they started messing around, it became something incredible. That kind of stuff doesn't happen much
No.
anymore. However, with the success of that, because again, I think that's a great example of it wasn't necessarily intended, but that is adapting to an American audience, kind of. You know, like the humor is a little more crude. The jokes are a little more racy, and that's what happened with Ghost Stories. And I think that that's a in my personal opinion, I see Ghost Stories as quite the precursor to the more modern day translations that we have nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Gachiakata, that incredible scene with Jabber, I think is his name, Zeno Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Uh doing him, like being himself, and making that performance so authentic and so
Oh,
funny and
especially like
so
especially when his dance and everything is just
yes.
like
Yes, the ability to take something and kind of go a little off the rails. Like you don't have to be so precise with everything. And I think that the success of Ghost Stories is what's also given a little bit of leniency because like Crunchyroll can't do whatever they want. It is based off of like the client and what the IP demands. So it's not like they can just write whatever they want and do whatever they want willy nilly. But there is a lot more leniency in what can be said.
there's definitely like a lot of like fourth wall breaks too when it comes to
Yeah,
English dubbing.
yeah,
I've noticed a lot of I'm not saying
yeah.
it's a bad thing.
No, not at all. I think it's great. So I don't know where I was going with that, but just yeah, Ghost Stories. Incredible in and of itself. But I do think that it served as a very interesting gateway into the modern or the current sort of adaptation that we have nowadays.
Oh yeah. So, what are some of what are some roles that you've done since you've worked with Crunchyroll?
Sure. So I've been in a lot of animes. When you first start out at Crunchyroll, I mean, I shouldn't say as an overall. When I first started off at Crunchyroll, I had a couple of named characters, but I was mostly getting called in for Walla. I still get called in for Walla a lot. And
And there's nothing wrong with background
oh no,
voices.
I prefer Walla. A little behind the scenes, or I guess maybe a hot take. I don't think it's that big of a hot take, but like, so when you work with Crunchyroll, you're guaranteed a 2 hour minimum. Uh, so if you go in for Walla and it's a 30-minute session, you still get paid for the 2 hours. Uh, and for me, I don't know, like that's incredible bang for your buck. And of course, having the main character is always fun. Of course, getting to be in the studio for more time is always the preferred. Again, about the craft, anime's been my dream for forever. Of course, I want to have named characters and have scenes and get to like really have my voice isolated and performing. But Walla is, I feel like, where some of the truest acting comes from because you're in more of an well, not you're in more of an ensemble. You are in an ensemble. There's typically four of you in the booth, and you're getting to improv off of each other. You're getting to just act with each other. So I kind of prefer Walla in most ways, just because like the pay is whatever you want to consider that, but then also it's just more fun getting to be with people. Um, so when it comes to roles, I've been in a lot of shows with Walla, but characters that people would know me, I'm Sam Young in Let's Play. I am Charlotte Fennel in The Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows.
Wait,
I am
what was that one? The
The
second one?
Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows. Super long title. Another long title for you. I'm Feline in The Villainess is Adored by the Prince of the Neighboring Kingdom.
Uh, so wait,
Just so many
it was
names.
called Celine. Wait, what?
Feline. Yeah, Phline. Feline.
Why is it?
Feline Sunfist is her full name.
Why is it when like the Japanese version is something super short, but then when America translates, it's just like this long. The time I got reincarnated as a vending machine, or the time I was
Yeah.
reincarnated as a slime, but then you got something simple like free Ren.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it just kind of depends. I don't think Crunchyroll really gets to decide the
No,
names of
I don't.
things.
I don't.
So
I
that
don't.
is funny. It is a funny happenstance of what it does. But so yeah, so those, and then most recently I am Kikuka in the klutzy class monitor and the girl with the short skirt.
The klutzy. Oh boy, I'm
I
ready.
know, I
The
know these
klutzy
names are
class.
crazy.
The klutzy class monitor with the short skirt.
Oh no, a klutzy class monitor and the girl with a short skirt. I know what the title potentially implies, but I was really surprised by how wholesome and sweet this show is. It's got a lot of heart. And I wasn't personally expecting that. It's absolutely like, I mean, it's full of comedy. It's balls to the wall crazy. All of the characters are like completely over the top. It is funny
Oh,
in that way.
you can tell me which um character because I'm gonna put a picture of it.
Oh, sure. Well, Kikuka's not on the front. She's the little sister of the main guy, the guy with the red
What's
sash on his arm.
what's her name?
Kikuka,
How do you spell
Kikuka,
K-I-K? Wait, K-I-K.
Uka,
Okay,
Kikuka.
okay, there it is. That took a minute.
No, you're good. You're good.
Don't. Oh, oh.
Yeah, that's my baby. Oh, she's so cute. I
Is
love
there?
her so much.
If I could
She's
try
yeah.
to, if I could try to find an English dub video of the character, I'll definitely have to show a clip with the
Sure,
source.
please. That'd be fun.
I'm the type of person that will also, when I do show clips, I like to show the source and where I found it from, just to give, credit to the actual, you know,
Sure. Yeah, that's totally fair.
less I have to deal with copyright stuff.
Totally get that. But yes, that's my most recent is as Kikuka. But I've been in My Hero Vigilantes a few times. I've been in Spy Family. I'm in Go For It, Nakamura-kun. I'm trying to think of like things that are happening this season that I have
Well, I
been
mean, I know
doing.
you also have the NDA thing, so I can understand not being able to say everything you're in.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like once the episodes are out, we're allowed to talk about it.
Oh yeah, no. Um, and you're not the first person to mention Walla. I've had people like Lexi Nieto
Mm-hmm.
from Toma Chance a Girl on here talk about it. Even like last year, I got to talk to Jill Harris about it too, about Walla.
Jill's incredible.
Oh yeah, no.
Absolutely incredible. She was one of the first people I met when I moved out here to Texas.
Oh yeah, no. She's
Um,
she's super kind, super sweet.
yeah, love her genuinely.
Let's see here. What kind of advice, now speaking of Crunchyroll, what kind of advice would you want to give to someone who may want to look into working with Crunchyroll?
You got to be local. I mean, that's the long and short of it. If I'm being completely honest, I for a long time tried to do the remote game. Again, I'm from Tennessee, so I took Tony Oliver's class from my booth in Tennessee. Uh, and it, unless you are something they are looking for so specifically, they're not really going to do a remote session unless they've worked with you before.
Which makes sense, especially during COVID, how like a lot of the
Yeah,
more prominent ones got to do remote, while the other ones like, hey, you actually kind of got to be here for this because
yeah,
we want to see what type of person you are before we like, yeah, you can work remote because even like your most prominent voice actors to this day, some actually do get to do remote and not have to go to the studio.
right. Yeah, so but they've been doing this for a hot minute. So Crunchyroll's not going to work with you remotely unless you're uber specific, something they're looking for, or they've worked with you before. So you need to be local. And I think that's when it comes to advice, that's the long and short of it. Once you're able to get out here, the advice is networking. To be completely honest,
Oh
get
no,
involved with the voice acting community and
no.
figure out like what classes are being taken and who you can talk to, who you can learn from, who you can become friends with. Um, because it is very much, I don't want to call it a family because it's not like that close, but the voice acting community in general is incredibly accepting and incredibly loving and incredibly helpful. And I guess that's what I mean by family, especially being somebody who's come from theater. I've never done on film and I probably will never ever do on film. But coming from theater, not that people in theater aren't nice, but it is very competitive and people are pretty competitive.
Oh yeah,
And not to
no.
say that voice acting isn't competitive, but Deborah Wilson has this incredible saying about doors, where she talks about everyone's got a door. Doors have opened for you in the past, doors will open for you in the future. Don't keep doors shut for other people. Help
Uh,
open doors for other people. And it's something that ever since I heard her say that, it's something that I've really, really tried to live by. It helps with imposter syndrome. It helps with the jealous mindset that can come along when you auditioned for a part but you see someone else got it. It really helps put me in the mindset of being happy for people and genuinely finding joy in other successes because
I
there
mean,
are doors for everybody. Um
and she started out with on TV stuff like Uptown Comedy Club, Mad
mhm,
TV. Like she started and then she slowly transitioned. I mean, you know when you see Deborah Wilson's voice because usually it's her face of the character, like Star Wars,
mhm.
Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League,
Yes, she's incredible.
Wolfenstein New Order, just to name a few. Like some people I've seen complain, well, why? She's like, she just voiced the same character. Like, what's? I don't see how she's voicing the same character, honestly. Yeah, the character may be mo-kept with her voice, but she's always playing some type of different character, and
Oh no,
I, props to
Deborah's
her.
got a lot in her.
I give props to where props is due. Like she's earned the right to have her face on those characters she voices.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and she's such a great motivational speaker too. She was the keynote for voiceover Atlanta in 2023, I think, maybe 23, 24. I don't remember. And that's where she gave that advice about the doors. And I think that it's just really opened my heart and my mind in general for this business because this business is cutthroat. Like, not from other people for the most part. Like, everyone's genuinely very nice in voiceover, but it can get to you, especially when you're by yourself all the time in a little booth doing your auditions with no feedback. Mentally very draining and very hard. And so I just got to keep remembering that, like, doors have opened, doors will open, and there's a door for everybody.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no.
so that leads to the advice of, I guess what I was saying, like, when you're able to get out here for anime, if you want to work with Crunchyroll specifically, once you move out here, join the community, meet people, and get involved with what's going on in the voiceover world out here because there's a ton of us out here.
Oh, I believe it, and I'm also of the mindset, and I've talked to many voice actors about this in the past that if you want to get started out, just do like small roles, audition for, because Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, there's always
Mm-hmm.
someone, and sometimes people will jump on it right away, while others are like, well, if it's not paying, I don't want to do it. It's like you know. It's mainly probably because the person put all their budget into the project that
Right.
once it kicks off, then yeah, they can potentially pay.
Yeah. I
And
get it. That would be for advice in general for voiceover, not specifically anime or anything like that.
oh yeah, yeah, the
Audition.
next yeah, the
Audition,
next
audition, 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 audition. I don't care if, like, make sure you fit the specs at least. Like, obviously, I'm a white girl from Middle Tennessee. I will not be doing anything POC, and I will not be doing anything that's like really deep because I can't go that low. But outside of major things like that, I'm auditioning for everything, anything that I can get my hands on. Because even if you don't get it, and especially if you're starting out, that's how you practice. That is the work.
oh, most
Auditioning
definitely.
is like 80 to 90% of all voiceover work. And then when you finally get the gig, that's great. But like, most commercials are only 15, 30, 60-second spots, you know? And then it's over. And you're not guaranteed your next job.
Oh
So might
yeah.
as well get good at auditioning. Get good at, like, make sure your website is great. Make sure you're findable. Make sure that you have friends. Make sure you're talking to people. Uh that's the name of the game.
And like most voice actors who are starting out or have been doing this for quite some time, they'll have a demo reel, whether it be of anime, video game, commercial stuff, because that really is what people want to, see. And like you
Mhm.
said, uh connections, building connections is a good thing. Someone who's in media themselves, it's good to have connections, but don't abuse those connections.
Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, so when I say connections, I mean, like, be authentic with who you are. Don't approach people for what you can gain from them. The being out here and being a part of a community is, it's give and take. If you're going to be a part of a community, you've got to be a part of it. Be nice, be helpful, be considerate, have genuine opinions and ideas, and make friends. Uh, Going after somebody for what they can do for you is never ever gonna work out the way that you think it will.
Oh, hands down. So, a question I usually will ask, especially when it comes to voice in an anime, there's a lot of yelling, screaming, happy,
Mm.
crying. What are some techniques that you do to prepare for like a screaming role, a yelling role, crying role, stuff like that, where you're really having to put your voice more out there?
Yeah, so for me personally, I am a singer. Specifically, I do a lot of belting, which
Belting.
is belting. It's like I don't want to say it's like scream singing. It's just like the very loud style of singing that you hear on like in big Broadway shows.
Oh,
The big notes.
kind of like Phantom of the Opera with Christine Daae singing the Phantom of the Opera, where her notes like really high pitch. And is that kind of an example, or
Kinda. It has more to do with the volume and the intensity of the note versus how high or low it is when it comes to belting. Again, I don't want to call it scream singing, but you can think of it as like screaming while you're singing. It's just a big noise, but you can, I mean, anyone can belt. Uh, but there is a technique for doing it safely, and it's all about like breath control coming from your diaphragm, really tightening your stomach, keeping your mouth open, creating a lot of space. And so when it comes to doing screaming, crying, really intense, loud noises like that, I personally like to fall on belting techniques because it's for me it's very similar. It comes from a very similar place. When it comes to protecting your voice with anime, it's not often you're gonna know what you're doing going in. Or well, I shouldn't say that. It depends on what show you're doing. If it's a simuldub, you'll most likely get to watch the episode before you go in to dub it because with simuldub we're usually a week or two behind. So you can see the Japanese at least before you go in to record. So if you watch that episode and you see that it's gonna be a lot of screaming and a lot of like whatever, then you're more prepared. So I would say like make sure you're really hydrated. Go on vocal rest the day before, go on vocal rest as soon as you're done, which is just not speaking. That's what vocal rest is, giving everything a break. But sometimes if it's like an original work that has maybe subbed a long time ago and now it's finally getting a dub, that's going to be on its own schedule. Maybe there's something you can watch, maybe there's not. And you'll come in each day and it might be a little bit of a surprise. So I would just say regardless of anything, protecting your voice is always like a baseline. Um, so staying hydrated, I think, is probably the biggest
I
thing.
know some people do like the tea method with honey or something
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah. You
soothe
can
their
do warm
throat.
drinks. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't really do anything physically, because like your vocal cords and your esophagus are not like in the same place. But the warmth can feel really good and it can be very soothing. I'm trying to think if there's for vocal health specifically, that's what I was gonna get at. I always encourage people to look up Reena Gupta, ReenaGupta. She's Reena Gupta on Instagram, and she's a doctor. I hate that I'm trying to remember her specific title. I don't remember if she's like a laryngologist
Oh,
or
it's
if she. Yes, yep, Reena Gupta. I can't remember her specific title, but she works with singers and voiceover people, and she bases a lot of her Instagram and a lot of her information and
yeah,
the
Center for Vocal Health Talk,
yes,
LA Voice, Dr. Rena Gupta. Dr. Rena
yep,
Gupta is proud to be recognized as for multiple years. Yeah. I
yeah.
mean,
Well, and I think she's opening up a location in Nashville too. Uh, but anyway, she does a lot of vocal health tips for voiceovers specifically. I believe she's worked with Blizzard a few times with
well, that
their
makes sense
people.
because there's like World of Warcraft, for example, or Overwatch. There's like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of yelling and like
Yes,
loud.
yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that like voice acting specifically had like medical professionals for that.
Yeah.
That is
Well, I
something
mean,
I
and
didn't know was the thing.
yeah, I mean, so and I am hesitant to be like, oh yeah, it's specifically medicine for voiceover people because she is a full on doctor. Like, I mean, you don't have to be a voiceover artist to go to her for any kind of
You
like.
could just be like an on-screen actor too that deals with like a
Cool.
lot
I
of
mean,
yelling.
yes, yeah. I mean, she might be. I said I can't remember exactly, but like ENT, I assume you could probably go for anything like that since it's all
I'll
very
definitely
connected.
have to like put her link below so people
Yes,
can do more.
please do, because she is an incredible resource. I can tell you what works for me. I can tell you how like I try to keep my voice
But it may not
good,
work. But it may not work for
and it
someone
may not work
else.
for everybody. But there are some, scientific, definitive facts and tips and tricks that will work for everybody because we all have basically the same biology when it comes to what's going on in here. And if you do have things that are different, Rena's the specialist. I'm sure she's got a video on it somewhere. I'm sure that there's somewhere on her website that you could ask a question if maybe don't know something. So I can tell you what I do, but anytime I'm asked the vocal health question, I have to send people to Rena because she's the expert. And I think that and she just understands the voiceover world so well because she's been working with so many voice actors. It's just she's the queen. She's got all the knowledge.
Oh, I agree. And speaking of range and singing, there are some actors, the voice actors who started off in singing or who do sing. I think a good example of someone who has a range of both voice acting and singing, and then there's many, is Laura Bailey.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
A
hearing
hundred
her
percent.
hearing her go from like voicing someone like Lust to someone voicing I can't remember her name, main character in Fruits Basket.
Oh, Toru.
Yeah. Like the range is just crazy. And then,
Mm-hmm.
you hear them singing in like another anime. I'm like, that can't be the same person.
Right, right. It's incredible
The
what
r-
people
the
are able to
range
do.
the range is crazy.
Yeah.
How did you discover your range when it comes to voice acting?
If I'm being completely honest, my range is very minuscule. This is where my voice typically sits. I can go a little bit deeper with it and it being sort of believable. And I can go pretty high. Like I can get up there, so my range upwards is a little better, but that doesn't fit for a lot of things because it's way too cartoony. Which works for cartoons or works for like cute little critters,
Like
which is great.
Mona from Monochroma?
Yeah, yeah, it works really well for Mana. Um, so
Mana, my bad, not Mona.
no, you're good. I always think it's monochrome, so monochroma.
Hmm.
But so I do a lot of kids' voices. I do a lot of children. In Spy Family, I was in the episode where the bus gets hijacked or whatever, and I'm like six different kids on the bus just screaming. It's
So,
so
would that be an example of Walla where multiple voicing
yes,
multiples at the same
yes.
time? That
Yep,
is
yep. I was in a group with three other feminine presenting voices, and we all got to do a bunch of kids
And
screaming,
it's
and then, yep,
crazy. It's crazy how, and I have respect for all voice actors, but specifically female voice actors. Not can they only voice, female characters, but they can also like voice children, for example, too.
yep. We do a lot of boy voices, like young boy voices. So that's what I get called in for quite often, is mostly for children. So when it came to discovering my range, I'm still kind of discovering it. Really practicing and trying to stretch my voice in different directions, especially as I get older and my voice changes. I'm hoping that maybe I can start going a little bit deeper, and that's mostly a selfish thing. I just love the way deep women's voices sound.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh, it's so hot. Like I
I
just I want it so bad. If you want to hear like one of my most favorite deep voices of all time, Marwa Elda on you can find her on Twitter and Instagram, but God, she sounds so hot every time she talks.
who is it?
Marwa Elda, Marwa and then Elda. She's
Marwa Elda.
yeah, she's also at Crunchyroll. She was in Nori in oh shoot, A Witch's Death, I think is what it was called. And she was in Red Ranger.
Oh,
Yes. Yep. She sounds incredible. I'm always so impressed every time she gets on the mic. It's spectacular. And also, just while I'm recommending people, if you want to talk about range and you want to talk about like all different kinds of voices, Alex Handback, Alex and then Handback, Hanback. That dude, I it's you listen to him talk in general and he sounds like a normal fairly
Alex.
high-pitched guy.
Wait, Alex who?
Handback, Hanback, also works at Crunchyroll. Uh, but as I said, you talk to him and he's got just a normal, I would say, like fairly higher pitched voice for a masculine sounding person.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, but they get called in for the deepest, gruffest guys. And most recently, he was cast in Isekai Office Worker is a Bean Counter or something like that. I don't know. Listen, the names You do what
Uh,
you can with the names. But he plays like the recurring doctor character. I hate that I'm forgetting his name right now, but he's so like suave male lead. You know, like it's this not too high, not too deep, but very sexy, very, you know, like if you want to look at range, I really recommend listening to Alex's demos and just hearing some of the stuff that they've done.
another good example. I can't remember the actor's name. He voiced Gladius in Final Fantasy 15, and then you hear him go from a deep gruff voice like that. Then you see him play some the crazy Junkrat in Overwatch.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are both. That's both the same guy. Gladius was like a deep, rough kind of like piss me off, I'll kick your ass.
Mhm.
To like fire in the hole.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So when it comes to my range, my vocal range isn't super wide. I'm sure working on it. I'm practicing. And we'll see where it goes and what characters I'm able to get in the future. But what I pride myself on is my acting range, because I've been doing it for a long time and I have studied it and continue to study it. I'm always taking classes. Um, my acting range is very wide, and I think that that helps. So like if I can only do the same like maybe 6 voices, they come across very differently depending on the type of character that I'm playing. So it might be this similar voice, but if you hear it on a happy character, it's so
It
much
all
different than on
it
like a
really
mousy character.
it really depends on the tone too.
Yes. Yeah. So I pride myself in that direction. I'm working on the sound. I am always practicing trying to improve that. But I'd like to think that I've got a very wide acting range, and that is something that I'm pretty proud of.
And like you said, taking voice acting classes,
Yes.
you got people again like Steve Bloom, the one you previously mentioned. What was his name?
Tony Oliver.
Tony Oliver. Like they've been doing this for like over 30 years
Mm-hmm.
to the point where it was like, yeah, we want, and you can tell that they're really wanting to see the next generation of voice actors.
Yes. Oh my gosh, on that topic of wanting to see the Generation Next voice actors, sorry I just keep recommending people. I know this is supposed to be my interview, but
Oh
there
no
are
no
so
no no
many
no!
more people out there who are much
And,
more talented and much more like
and the thing
much more
is,
smarter. That's what I was about to say.
and
Than
the
me.
thing about these episodes, I love giving shout outs to people
Yeah.
for people to check them out. Yes, this is your interview, but if you're wanting to give shout outs, you're more than welcome to.
I know that's all I want to do is just tell people like I'm happy to answer any questions. My DMs are open. I'm Lacey Deline everywhere. You know, I'm happy to help out
Well,
wherever I can. But there
I know we usually do this at the end of the episode, but where can people find you on social media?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I'm on Twitter and Instagram mostly, with Lacey Deline. I do have a TikTok, but I like never post. I repost fairly often. And I'm not on Facebook. Just I'm not. But you can find me on all those places, and then also on my website. Oh, and LinkedIn. I forgot LinkedIn and IMDb. But I'm Lacey Deline everywhere. LACEYDELINE. And you should be able to find me on basically any social media that is not Facebook. Uh, but what I was going to say was the shout out was you earlier asked about advice for brand new people coming into voiceover, whether that be for animation or just in general. Um, in my personal opinion, and I am a little biased because I come from Tennessee, but the most comprehensive, interactive, and helpful course I have ever taken in my whole life is the beginner voice acting course with the Tennessee Voiceover Studios. It's run by Christy Bowen,
Why does that sound?
ChristyBowen.
Why does that
She
sound
is an
so
e
fun?
learning goddess. I mean, just e learning and political are her bread and butter, and she is incredible. But she has the beginning course is a full, I think it's 6 weeks, and you can meet virtually. They're in the online school, and it's not just beginning voice acting, how to get in it. She goes into the nitty gritty of how do taxes work? How do you save your files? How do you decide which DAW and what sort of setup to have? How do you create your closet when you can't afford a Wisp room or a studio breaks? Where do you go if you want to become a business entity? You know, all of these, the marketing of voiceover, everything, literally everything that goes into being a self-sufficient full-time voice artist, she has a course on. And once you take that course, I mean, obviously you get to keep all of the materials, and then she is a lifetime resource. You can always go to her and ask her questions for anything. I mean, you don't even have to take her course. She's just genuinely kind and helpful that way. But if anyone starting out is gonna spend money, I highly recommend spending it there. It is so much bang for your buck. I personally think she should charge more, but I understand why she doesn't.
She
And I'm
want
glad she doesn't
she
because
wants she
she
wants to
wants
make
it
it
to be affordable. She
wants to make it available to everyone
exactly. She
else.
wants to make it available, and it's such a comprehensive course. I mean, like just to go into everything, the things that like I never even thought about when I first started out. Um, it's just incredible. So if you're new, the Tennessee Voiceover Studios, I can't recommend them
If you
more.
have like links to those, please send me
I
so I can.
do. If you want to go, my Instagram and Twitter have link trees. I have a direct link to that specific
Please,
course.
please, please, especially for those who are local to Tennessee or plan on moving to Tennessee and want to pursue more. So, like, and I think people realize, there is definitely a business side to voice acting. It's not just going to the studio doing A, B,
Mm-hmm.
and C and D. It's pretty much
Especially
going,
nowadays,
especially
I
you're
only go to
going,
the studio for Crunchyroll. Otherwise, I do everything at home.
yeah. And like you said, it's not just A through C. It's like A through Z almost.
A through Z and then A1 through Z1. Like it's just
Because
there's
just,
so much. And you don't have to be in Tennessee to do the Tennessee voiceover course. It's just what it's called because that's where she's
oh, no,
based.
gotcha, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
no, it's virtual. So you can be anywhere and take this course. Uh and then as I said, I'm Lacey Deline everywhere and my link tree is in my Instagram and my Twitter, so you should be able to find it going through there. I think it's called the career path. Um maybe. I don't know. But
And
it's just really good.
And I imagine because you're getting paid through this, just like your standard 9 to 5 job, you're also having to taxes and everything too.
And she goes into that, like how to do your taxes, how to set up your finances, how to send invoices, how to make an invoice, you know, how to sign a contract, how to read a contract, uh, who to reach out to if you're having an issue with your contract. Like it's just all of these little nitty gritty things that I just don't think about, and she did, and she made a course on it. So I just think that if you're gonna invest in your career, this is one of the best things you can do for yourself.
That no, that's some really good sound advice. I don't, and I never considered how like d I'm trying to think of the word, how like not intense, but like how deep that the
Yeah.
business side goes to voice acting. Because again, it's not just going to the studio and voicing it. It sounds like there's a lot more
Oh yeah, everything is very
complex
interconnected.
stuff.
Yeah, how do you get paid? It's fun doing the work, but where does the money go? How do you get the money? How do you
How do you
ensure you get the money?
how do you get your HO, your whatever, the because it's not like, yeah, because sometimes that you get an actual paycheck or you'll have it sent to your bank, how, yeah, and I'm glad that she teaches people how to set all
Yeah,
the financial side basically
yeah.
of.
But it is also a course on voice acting, so you will get acting training. You will get to read scripts. You will get to work with coaches. Like it is the full comprehensive course. Like it's not just that side of it. So it's kind of an all in one for beginners. It's incredible.
No, I think that's a good thing. Two more questions. What has been, oh, I always forget how to ask this question. Oh, what kind of impact has this had on you on a whole, not just inside the world of voice acting, but outside of acting too?
Oh, what a good question. I mean, the impact is I get to live my dream. Not a lot of people get to do that. Voice acting is a fun job. Um, I mean, definitively. But this is something that I am deeply passionate about. Uh, just my mental health is great. Um, I get to make my own schedule, which is lovely.
You're pretty much
Um,
you're your own boss in a
yeah,
sense.
I'm my own boss. Uh, it's I get to be silly and goofy and keep my inner child. So the impact that voice acting has had on me is just, I mean, true bliss, happiness. When it comes to career and work. And through voiceover, I've made some of my like most best friends ever in my whole life. Is how I've met them through voiceover. So it's just been an incredible experience for me overall. Um, and I'm in a very privileged position to get to say that because I do book and I uh, am full time. And I know that voice acting can be very stressful for some people, especially starting off. I mean, I already mentioned the emotional turmoil that it can have, but it is an expensive thing to get into. Um, I mean, not to say that it has to be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, but like in this economy, $30 is a lot of money to
Oh,
spend on a microphone.
yeah.
Like I'm not trying to discredit anyone's financial status, but it's a lot. Um and so for me, I'm just very grateful that I've had an incredible time with it and that it's been very good to me.
I know it's good to know the ins and outs.
Mhm.
Honestly. Let's see here. Um, oh yeah, and not long ago, you actually got to be a voice acting guest at a local con in Oregon.
Yeah, I got to go to Rogue Comic Con, and that was so fun. I was there for Monochroma, um, helping promote the Kickstarter, and just they played the
And
trailer the entire time, so they didn't have
and
the actors there.
what better way to help promote than have the main
Yeah,
character, the actor who voices the main character.
yeah, and I have a Mana print, so like a picture of Mana that Lefty drew, and I have another one that Zeph drew, um, that people can buy when I go to cons and stuff like that, and when you do, I donate all of that to the Kickstarter. Um, so that was kind of like, I mean, I was there to help promote the Kickstarter too, but I had my own booth, and so when people would get to interact with me, then that went straight to the Kickstarter, which is, I mean, I think it's awesome. I hope the Kickstarter, accomplishes its goal.
I mean, and if anyone watching this wants to check out Monochroma, highly recommend following Negative Grass on Instagram. I
And you
can't.
can look up the Kickstarter on Google. It's just
Yeah,
Monochroma Kickstarter.
I'll definitely be posting links to that too, because I
Thank
definitely.
you.
Let's see here. I guess the last question. Any last minute advice you would like to throw out there for those who are listening and are watching this? Just any.
I feel like I've kind of given a lot throughout the course of the interview. I anything that I wouldn't just be repeating. Oh, I would say so. I guess a piece of advice: demos. I'm not going to get into nitty gritty demos because I'm not an expert in them. But I want to give one more resource. K2 Media Productions. The letter K, the number two, and then the word Media Productions. Um, Probably one of the best demo houses out there, or production studios out there. Kevin Kilpatrick is the owner and the person who does most of that stuff, and he is incredible, a great teacher. He's also not afraid to go outside of the box. He doesn't do cookie cutter demos. He works with you directly and has custom scripts made, and it's very affordable for what it is. It's not thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for a demo, which is incredible. Also, he's very humble. So I mean, and realistic. If he doesn't know how to do something, he'll hire a different director to help you out. Like he's mostly a commercial and automotive guy, but if you want to do an animation demo, he hires outside people to come and help direct with that kind of stuff, and then he just worries about the production side of it because he's an incredibly talented editor. So if you're looking to get your demo done, I highly recommend K2 Media Productions. I just think they're great. I've always had an incredible experience with them. Always been more than worth my money, and uh, the demo should feel unique to you, and they pride themselves on that fact. They really try to customize it to who you are, and I mean that's the point. It's your calling card. So
And you
K2
said
Media Productions. That'll be my last bit of.
K2 Media Produ I will have again. I'll probably need a link for that
Yeah, sorry.
one.
I know I'm throwing out so many things. There's just so many other people out there, that are way more smarter, that have way more information than me. So I really, really, really appreciate this interview. It's been really, really
Oh no,
fun.
no, thank you. I'm
And I
always
hate that I just kept talking about other people, but I mean, seriously, these are the places that like I wouldn't be where I am without the support that I have, and this is where I got a lot of my start is through these resources that I'm sharing.
it's good to have support, friends, family, your
Hmm.
husband, which I'm sure again, he's probably been your biggest supporter in all this.
Yeah, he's pretty great. I kind of like him a lot.
Oh, now since you went was Ro by the way, I forgot to, was Ro Comic Con your first time appearing as a guest or
No, I it was my second time. So
Oh,
yeah, I went to a convention in Dallas, and then I went to Rogue Comic Con, and I'll be at if you're gonna be in Plano, in July, I will be at Madness Games, doing a Let's Play signing event with the other main characters of the cast. So
wait,
that'll be really fun.
what's it called?
It's called Madness Games. It's a game store
Ooh.
and they do signings. events, and the Let's Play cast is going to do one on July 18th.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you're in Plano, I don't know, it's going to be fun.
Do you plan on going to more cons in the future or more events?
I'd love to. I'd love to go to more cons. The easiest way for me to go to cons is for people to request me to go to cons. I'm reaching out on my own, and I have I guess I guess I would call her more of a booking manager than an agent because I don't have an agent. But I'm with V Squared. Veronica, she's super nice, and she just helps people get into events and stuff.
And that's
Uh,
good, and it's good to have a booking manager.
yeah. So I really appreciate her. So I mean, you can reach out to her, I guess, at V Squared Productions.
Coming from experience of trying to book people to come on the channel, it's not just a schedule thing, but it's also a time thing because
Yeah,
they're either 2 hours ahead or 4 hours
yep,
ahead. They're like a day ahead if I want to get
yep,
someone across like in a different country,
mm-hmm,
which I can say from experience. Anyone watching this, if you are wanting to book people, you got to remember that they have a busy schedule, and if they say no, it's nothing against you. It's just they're busy or
yep,
stuff like that. Don't take offense to it. Everyone has a busy schedule.
yep, yep. So, I mean, I'd love to go to cons. Request me if you want to see me. That'd be pretty cool. Otherwise, I'm reaching out. I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, again, Lacey, thank you so much for coming on to
Yeah, thanks,
this.
Wade. It was a pleasure to meet you at Real
And
Comic Con, and I really appreciate you having me on.
likewise, and one more time, where can people find you on social media?
I am Lacey Deline everywhere. LACEYDELINE on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or IMDb or LinkedIn. Whatever, wherever you want to find me, that's where I
I'll
am.
definitely be sure to post your links of all your stuff that
Yeah,
you've done.
please, the links. Yeah, I know there were a lot, but I just can't. I can't recommend them enough. I can't say enough. If you're gonna invest the money, these are places that are one-stop shops. You're not gonna have to keep spending and spending and spending because you didn't get the information you wanted. Like these are incredible resources.
No, and then the one part of this channel is not just for talking about the stuff, but it's also there's an educational side to the stuff,
Yeah,
which I really don't think you really see a whole lot of nowadays.
I you know, it is what it is.
Again, Lacey, thank you. And as
Thank
always, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and shout out to those who follow and support the channel.